fringe players came in, played well. Pirro with his mouth open, bless him. He was just sort of running around like that. And
He
that was
might
an
have
impression of Pirro.
sinuses.
Well,
I mean,
I hope
everybody
he
has
does have.
sinuses, but you know what I mean?
I hope he has sinuses.
Like he might be doing that thing that Rubens Barrichello. He needs that thing that Rubens Barrichello used to have when Formula One was entertaining and good.
Yeah, but have you seen
where they have the thing where it opens your nose up?
The strip? Yeah, but have you seen them? They sort of they make it look like they magnetically click onto your nose and then pull them apart. How do they do? How does it do that?
I mean, I don't know, but it's a technology developed.
Welcome to Buckets and Bubbles.
Hello.
So the thing is, we've got to get better at actually doing this after games.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's been a busy old time over the Christmas and New Year for
it is,
but you know,
yeah. Why is it called Buckets and Bubbles?
Right. So, Buckets is the graft. It's the mud, rain, cold Tuesday night, lower league grounds, plastic seats, Bovril breath. I quite like that. Buckets catching leaks in the stand, buckets of sweat, buckets of heartbreak, the gamer's labour.
That's the Buckets.
Bubbles is the champagne football, the promotion dreams, the Twitter tactic bros, pundits hot air, the noise, the myths, the vibes, the bubble you live in when your club might actually be going somewhere.
Oh, so hang on a minute. This is more reflective of what you actually put into the AI.
So I went
as to the mood that you were feeling.
So I went, why is it called Buckets of Bubbles? Make it entertaining. That's what it came back with. Yeah, because I was like, don't give me AI server farm nonsense again. You know, give me something that's actually you know, a bit different.
Yeah. The was it the mud and blood and Bovril breath or something?
Bovril breath, yeah. I've deleted it now, so I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, but yeah, Bovril breath, I liked that because that reminded me of, you know, weekends in 90s. You know, when you'd go stand on terraces and that.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, you say Bovril breath because at the Manchester United game, the guy who sits in the seat next to the one I sit in, he had a Bovril. He went off at half time, came back with a Bovril, and I was thinking, what's that? And I looked across and I thought, I haven't smelt that in ages.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they still sold it.
Yeah, I remember, like, as a kid, I used to go home and away Featherstone Rovers, RIP, they'd been kicked out of the Football League, the Rugby Football League. But I used to go home and away Featherstone Rovers, you know, winter rugby, none of the Super League nonsense. And that's the smell of just the 90s stood in Wigan. Do you know what I mean? When rain's going sideways into your eyes, and there's something quite joyful about that, you know.
And that's the mud element of what you've just talked about for Buckets and Bubbles. Interestingly, just speaking about that sort of 70s and you know,
I'm not that old.
No, but I'm trying to make a tenuous-ish link, and you know, football pitches that were all muddy. We of course lost Terry Yorath. Last week. So there was some nice tributes to that, and his family were there and what have you, and that was quite nice. I was very lucky enough to meet him a couple of times, and he was a lovely guy. And the champagne football, of course, is what West Ham have got back to.
Yeah, you know, Somerville seems to have just gone, oh yeah, I can play football. I forgot I had this talent.
I mean, let's not get too carried away. It was against Spurs.
A poor Spurs. I mean, they have been but do you know what? My immediate reaction was, this feels all the more better considering if this is a relegation season and we still beat Spurs at their stadium. I'm just like, yeah, I'll have that. That's my little bit of spoonful of sugar to hear the relegation of, yeah, but we beat Spurs though, didn't we?
Yeah, a little bit of Mary Poppins as well in there. Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
All right, let's do a bit of social media. And this is only going to be really quick. We'll deal with Leeds first because I've already mentioned Terry Yorath. That's I'll stick that up. That's the Fulham match. That was quite nice. But the usual sort of Leeds thing. All the Barcelona. Of course, he played in that fabled European Cup final against Bayern Munich when then the cheating gits. And the referee cheated us out of a European title. But anyway, we won't dwell on that too much. So some nice little pictures from the past there. I like that. We had our game at Newcastle, and we've got Tanaka there and Gruev on the ice. They're They're outside St James's Park. Magpies in the background. That's
Yeah.
quite nice as well. I like that. There was some chat about whether footballers, and I know this is an old chat, should wear gloves. Tanaka's got a pair of gloves on there. Don't agree with it myself, but there we are. Whatever.
A bit like, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah,
I
fair
think I
enough.
draw a line at those kind of full leg long johns they've started wearing. It's like, wear the
Yeah.
shorts and wear the socks. And like, if you're a fullback or a winger and you're meant to be pacey, no, not having that.
Not having it. I'm also not having, because I'm just looking at that Tanaka one there, where they're cutting the holes in the socks around the calf again.
Yeah.
And I know there's some sort of science behind it, but I'm not having it.
No. No. The only hole in those socks should be made by the studs of your opposition as they tear through you.
Correct. Yeah. Absolutely. And Terry Yorath would agree.
Yeah.
So that was that. We signed a player, Bayonetti. I don't even know if that's how you say his name, but it's bayonet. It's the thing that you stick on the end of your.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
which is a knife.
he sounds quite sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing was, he is a bit like a bayonet, because in the summer we tried to sign him and he stabbed us in the back. Said, no. I want to go to Chelsea. How did that work out for him? 45 minutes he played, and then he came crawling back. So he better be good. But we have been crying out for a number 10, and he's sort of a legitimate number 10, whether he can get up to pace or not.
What's his face will be pissed off, won't he?
But Pirro, good point. No, really good point, because he's probably on his way out. He doesn't want to go, but Pirro's knocking around. He's still got his mouth open on it. For the derby for the FA Cup, again, he's there. Started for in that game. Again, mouth open again. Just looks a bit gormless. And Fulham, same thing. I mean, I don't think we're going to be seeing that for much longer, if I'm honest. I suspect
it'll save us 15 seconds an episode.
Yeah, absolutely will. That nobody gives a flying shit about. The FA Cup one, I'll just stick that up from Leeds, because that was quite nice. When they do the FA Cup, they usually go back to the old programme type thing. So that's quite nice. Newcastle, I'll just throw this in because it just reminds me of how dull other teams' social media is. It's just a bit shit.
And considering you're the richest club on earth, you could afford to dig up and reanimate Tony fucking Hart to do your social media, couldn't you?
You would think so. But they don't. Let me deal with Stach. Now, we're only privileged to 2 Stachs because he didn't play against. He's got a little injury, so he was spotted down at the basketball or whatever it was down in London over the weekend. There was something going on. The Newcastle one. Now, I'm hoping you can help me out with this, because I'm pretty sure it's the seahorse from SpongeBob SquarePants.
Right.
He's riding it.
Right.
With long flowing red hair, which is
Ariel.
Ariel.
Yeah.
And they're under the sea. There's a burger. There's a finger with a number 1 on it.
Right.
On a stick. And it's Newcastle versus Leeds.
I think
I don't understand.
Yeah. It feels like he's just gone, what goes under the sea? And he's, Ariel, Little Mermaid. Krabby Patty, I think, is the burger, which is SpongeBob. I don't know a lot about SpongeBob.
No, I
have a 7-year-old who has only just discovered it this week. Newcastle have got a seahorse in their badge.
I mean, it's still pretty trippy, and he's off his face, but there we go.
Yeah, I'm going to say, is that Krabby Patty, like, is that just, one of those cakes, which looks real, but it's actually laced with, like, weed?
I imagine so.
That's tenuous, but we'll.
I imagine so.
Yeah.
I would think so, yeah. There seems to be some odd substances growing on the seabed there, so most likely.
Yeah.
But of course, the seahorses. I was looking at it going, I don't get it. Why? But why that particularly? But yes, thank you. You've answered that. Derby County. He played in that game, and I quite like that one as well. It was the FA Cup, and it's 2 race cars. A white one for Derby, obviously the Leeds one, and him with a checkered flag. Looking like a racing driver, a Red Bull racing driver, obviously. So that's quite nice. Quite like that. Other than that, because he's been injured, he's been relatively quiet. That's Leeds. Let's deal with yours. Your YTS has not bothered. It's just standard stuff. I'm getting a bit bored of that, quite frankly.
Yeah, I think they've gone, because we've been. The stat I learned is that, I say learned, it's quite obvious. Nuno has the lowest points over that period of game of any manager in the Premier League history of West Ham. Not in the history of West Ham, but in the Premier League history of West Ham. So he's currently out. But so like, I imagine they've just said to all the media team, just don't bother.
Until Spurs,
Until
and then they've gone
Spurs.
absolutely nuts.
Yeah, everything's come out now. Yeah.
Oh, there's training videos.
Yeah.
There's
Paqueta's wearing a body cam thing. What's that about? I don't give a shit.
There's no pictures of it, but there's a video of them doing some sort of cocktail.
Yeah.
They've gone.
You can tell when we were in Europe, they pulled Jack Mate off of Happy Hour podcasting to do like these snack wars things where essentially they get Thomas Souček and Vladimir Soufal and give them like whelks and stuff like that and just be like, here, you're foreign, eat some traditional East End food. And then Jack Mate in his vernacular, he's like, oh, isn't that interesting? And that was 20 minutes and probably about 25 grand.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. But they do these things. I found myself watching a video of Ampadu, Jaden Bogle, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin talking about like cars and car parking, and like I'm sat there and I'm going, "What are you doing?
Yeah,
Why are you even watching this?
Yeah, come on, play football."
Yeah,
I don't give a
train.
shit.
Just do so. I don't give a shit what you think about cars. Although I did learn that Jaden Bogle only passed his test with an
automatic
car.
license. Yeah.
Mm.
I didn't know that. I just thought that's where you were.
Yeah, that's exactly. Which is interesting because I've been talking to my son about that, who is nearly 20, who because in 10 years' time there won't be any manual cars.
No, it'll just be knobheads like me and you who refuse to let it go.
Completely. Or can't afford to let it go. There's that as well.
Yeah. I've got a new car, by the way.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll talk about that now if you want.
No, it reminded me. I've got it's a 2008 Astra.
I used to have an Astra.
Yeah, so did I. That one's over road. Vauxhall Astra twin top, so it's a mechanical reclining roof, which is really good for January in Bradford.
Yeah.
And it leaks. So it's
of course it does.
Yeah, so it's got like a weatherproof, and it says weatherproof, not waterproof, weatherproof, because it's about as good as sticking kitchen roll on top of it. It's all right.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it'd be nice in the summer.
Yeah. Roof don't work though.
Well, okay.
So it'll do.
Maybe it won't be nice. Right? Is it? Well, we'll talk about whether it's fixable later. Maybe next time you can give us an update on the roof situation next time.
I bought some stuff that you meant to put on rubber to seal it, and it hasn't worked.
Okay.
This is all getting cut.
It's not. It's staying in. Okay. Keep watching YouTube videos. You'll find one of them.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's somebody put. You remember what net curtains in 80s? And there was that little bit of plastic with like two kind of O-rings on the end to like hang it up, and it was slightly elasticated like that. People put that through the seal, the rubber seal to make it pop up. So I might be going to market and going to whatever net curtain shop and going, have you got any of that? So I can put it in
just over the road. I'll have a look when I walk past. Just over the road from me, there's a haberdashery shop and sewing shop called Mrs. Bobbins.
That's a good name. That's a good name.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's great, and she's really miserable. Like she's so miserable. But I'll have a look in the window, see if they've got any.
Yeah.
Getting onto your social media, because during that chat I've already put up the two West Ham ones, which are just your normal sort of montage of players and Jared Bowen, etc. Your first one I've got here, which was spent hours moaning about West Ham on buckets and bubbles. Now I'm bang up for this. I think that was before the Forrest game.
Yeah. Well, genuinely, I was like, I really thought. To be fair, to some extent, I think I was proved right. I think officiating was the downfall for that. I don't think West Ham we weren't necessarily our own downfall.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
You liked the fact that Tati was starting?
Yeah, Tati, love him. He's amazing. Come in and just runs about and has a bit of skill. That's all I want.
Wilson's scoring your goals though, isn't he?
Yeah, and
Somerville, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be first to say I was a bit like about his signing, but if you're going to bring in somebody in to replace Danny Ings, Callum Wilson's the one to do it, and he's absolutely proven his worth. I'm at the point now where I want us to redo his contract so that he's paid more per week rather than his 6. You know what I mean?
He's proven he's worth it.
Yeah, and he's
What
fit all the time. Do you know what I mean? He's available.
is he going?
That's the thing. Like as we record this today, the current thing is that he's staying. I don't know about a new contract, but West Ham are not actively looking to off. So we are
Okay.
looking to. We've moved that wage saving onto like Guido Rodriguez. He's the one who seems to be joining Valencia, I think, on loan.
So there was that. After the match, I liked this from Hammers Massive.
Yeah. That's like my favorite reference in terms of like, in class, I'm like, you never ever want to leave somebody in the industry feeling like Ben Affleck stood outside having a fag. And everybody goes, I get exactly what you mean.
Yeah, so I like that. And I have seen it before, but
Yeah.
yeah, fair play to Hammers Massive for that. Bye bye Pac-Man, because this was Spurs. Obviously you had QPR in between.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and this was Spurs. But not bye bye Pac-Man. Pac-Man was just injured.
He was, as far as I can tell, I don't know if that was just peddled out to the media just to go, oh yeah, he's not so because he's injured, blah blah blah. He was at that point. I think we were about to sell him, and Nuno stopped it.
Oh,
So
okay.
there
Tell me a
is
bit more.
so there is a slight fracture, which is always the case in West Ham because David Sullivan is an absolute cancer for that club and should leave immediately.
You've never mentioned that before.
No.
I don't know whether. No.
I feel like Gary Neville, do you know what I mean? Just banging on about it. But it's true. Like even our stadium is starting to rust, and it's like this is the London Stadium. It's not that old. We're starting to, Anyway, he always wants a say in transfers, and so he's like Flamengo came in and they offered 35 million plus 5 million add-ons, which is about what we paid for him. And considering we've won a European Championship because of an assist, I think we are about going to happily break even on that. I'd be gone, yeah, see ya, because he's shit as well. He's no, he's a bad influence in this club because he doesn't apply. And so I'm like, go. But then Nuno is like, no, keep him. He's our best player. And I think he feels like he's the person to turn it around for him. And he feels like that's his mission, is to turn Paqueta into this brilliant player. And it's like, Paqueta's done this at AC Milan, at Lyon, and now at West Ham. There is a pattern there. This is where we're at. I think he'll still go. The only thing is now, Brazil, their transfer window is open until March. So they're in no rush. So we've gone, we're going to hold out for a bit more money, is the official line coming from inside sources, David Sullivan. And like, so they've just gone, all right. They can literally, turn their, go on holiday for a week. Do you know what I mean? There is no rush, whereas we're like, we need to bring players in, and that's the money where we're going to do it.
It ended quite well though, didn't it? At the Spurs Stadium, whatever that thing's called these days.
I think, is it still the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? I don't know.
No, I don't know.
The one that's shaped like a bog lid.
Yeah.
Because it is. You look at it, it's a bog lid. Yeah, and we didn't have Pac-Man, and we played brilliantly. We absolutely. I think Somerville really. I don't know if he's hamstrung slightly tactically when Paqueta's playing, and maybe that's why we've not started to see him being. We've not seen him before being so aggressive in the attack. He's been given defensive duties while Paqueta can roam around, because he has zero defensive duties. He does do a bit, but the latest story is that he's begging to go. It's just like, let him go. Let him.
Yeah. All right. Well, while we're still talking about West Ham, because that's most of the social media done. Do you want to just take us quick? Oh, let's just quickly say before, we had the FA Cup. We don't really give a shit. You beat QPR.
We beat QPR. We've got a decent. I forget what it is, but we've got a decent draw in the second round. Away. I think it's like Burton or something.
It is Burton. Yeah.
Is it? And so yeah, I mean, we'll fine. It'd be brilliant that we win the FA Cup this year and get relegated. I think that would just be.
Well, the thing about the FA Cup is obviously we beat Derby, and it was Derby did well for the first half, and then they made changes, and I think we were deserved 3-1 winners. I think it was 3-1. Anyway, I don't care. We're away at Birmingham, which will be a tough game because they'll bring all the American stuff out, won't they, with what's his face and all the 49ers, anyway, all that sort of stuff.
Cheeseburgers.
The funny thing about the FA Cup is, I think because of what's happened recently, I think there are a number of clubs, in all seriousness, like ours, like yours, like a number of who think, actually, we've probably got a stab at this.
The last time we won it in 1980, we were second division. You know, we were the last club in who weren't a top tier club to win it. I
And
think.
that'll never happen again.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last team to get to a final might have been Millwall, and that might have been Dennis
Mm,
Wise's Millwall. I remember that.
yeah.
That was the day my brother got married. That went well. Sorry, Dave. Not that he's
Sorry,
watching.
pal.
Yeah,
You've already told us a little bit about Nottingham Forest.
yeah. I think I was really pleased actually. That first half, I think we were really good. And we got his goal. Deflected. I don't care. It went in. But it was the thing. What I really liked is the attack. You know, and the fact that we were taking shots, which is the thing which we've lacked. Is, you know, you can count probably on two hands. It's that many. I don't know why I needed to show you my big hands. Just weird. I saw it on camera.
Are they big? Or that were they just really
They were just really
close?
close. It's like that cow in a field. More than 5 games this season, you could probably go. We've had no shots on target, and we would hammering it. You know, we were going for it, and I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the idea that we were getting second balls, winning second balls, and we were putting pressure on them. We were getting back up the field, and you know, and if we weren't trying to lay off for the perfect shot, we were just taking shots and playing the numbers, and it paid off. You know, I honestly believe that the officiating was probably the downfall, which feels very, you know, I get it. You know, it's kind of a blame the ref, blah blah blah, but. The second goal, which was an absolute belter, that volley from Somerville was just like, I don't care if he committed fouls and red cards and sending offs, that goal should still have stood based on how good it was, you know? There should
Yeah,
be a
yeah,
sliding
yeah.
scale of if you've just kind if it's ricocheted off your thigh and it's a, you know, then VAR should come in. But if it's an absolute worldie, you know, that should count. Given our run, our bad luck in terms of we've had a lot of decisions not go our way, I kind of felt begrudged that that didn't go our way. It felt like for another club on another day that might have been in their favour. And I'm not
The one
saying,
at Spurs. Am I right in saying the one at Spurs went your way though, didn't it? With VAR, and it could not.
yeah,
It might not have done. With was it Wilson who was? You could argue was.
yeah,
I mean, I think it was a goal,
yeah,
but you've seen them given where
yeah,
the strikers are in front of the goalkeeper and impeding their jump and all that, and they've gone, oh yeah, you're interfering with play and blah blah.
yeah. I think that goal should have stood. I think others have been given, and you know, I think had that goal been given, I think that game would have happened differently. I'm not sure Forest would have got the goal immediately because it wasn't long after that where they got their goal. If we'd have been 2-0 or 2-1, I feel like we could have maintained that. The other choice, the other decision by the referee was the penalty, and I don't agree with that flatly at all. I think that is absolute nonsense.
I think Sean Dyche said it. I could be wrong about this, but I think Sean Dyche might have said afterwards that it's one of them where that they're given. But if it's given, it's one of them where if it's given against you, you're absolutely fuming. But if it's given for you, you're saying thank you very much.
And I know I always moan about this, but it's one of those where it's like, you know, given our season, I kind of feel like it feels even worse. You know,
Mm,
you feel
yeah.
more aggrieved by it. I don't think I genuinely believe that there is a conspiracy to make games entertaining and referees are being paid off to make controversial decisions to maintain the focus.
But you do believe that.
I'm just kind of throwing it out there.
Okay, fair enough.
You know,
Fair enough.
as a,
But
you know, it's something to talk about, and I know it's tin hat. That's very tin hat of me, and it feels very
well, it's,
for a
yeah, I
team in
mean,
the
it's
bottom three. It feels very apt to be throwing that.
tinfoil round the head.
Yeah,
5G, not having it.
yeah,
Um, it got better at Spurs though, didn't it?
yeah, and you know, I'm a little bit like the thing is the reason why I feel like so aggrieved at Forest is that was our big, you know, if we'd have won that, we'd have been within 4 points of them, and we're not. We're now, you know, that was like, oh, the rest of the season, that's going to be a tough ask to bring that back. And you know, we kind of we went on better with Spurs. No Paqueta again, so it kind of felt like Somerville had an opportunity to be a bit more attacking, and that really paid off. You know, he was magnificent for a lot of that game.
Mm,
And we kind of feel like that's the player that we bought because obviously he came to us and then was out for a season through injury.
mm,
He got his goal. Um, even the fact that it was disallowed at Forest, I feel like that volley would have given him confidence. You know, like, yeah, disallowed, but you know, I still scored that, and it was a very decent volley. You know, he took that into QPR, we won that game, took that into Spurs, which was a big game. And I feel like if there was any game we needed to win, it was absolutely this. And there were points where Spurs were coming back into it, and there were points where I kind of felt, oh no, especially when after they got their goal, and I was a bit like, oh, I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
about this, but
I was going to say what I liked about Somerville, because we were talking about that confidence and what have you. What I liked about it is I started to see a little bit more of the player that we had at Leeds.
yeah,
That sort of taking people on, but then trying to cut inside across the box and getting shots away.
yeah.
Because I still maintain that you've got the quality to do it. I still think you've got the quality to pick up the points.
I think given a really good solid centre back, and don't get me wrong, against Spurs, Todibo, Mavropanos were on fire, and that's if they can maintain that for the rest of the season, and
Mm.
we have a decent backup coming, I think we'll be better. I think we won't be as fragile at the back because that's been our big problem. Um, Goalkeeper, we're looking at a new goalkeeper. I think Alphonse Areola has been stunning, and
We've got one. We've got one you can have.
yeah, we
Yeah,
we,
yeah,
we just
Perry. He's really big. He's big.
yeah.
Yeah, he's big. He's really big. He doesn't carry. The only thing is he doesn't carry his own water bottle to the. He won't do that. But
Fair.
you can have him.
Yeah,
You
all
can
right.
have him.
Yeah, thanks. I'm sure the 49ers and David Sullivan really appreciate us negotiating this deal.
Yeah, yeah. It's fine. On behalf of most of the Leeds fan base, I would
Yeah.
argue that's a good deal for you.
I mean, it can't be any worse than Hermanson.
I don't know. I don't
He's
know.
terrible. Although up until I think he's the keeper who's kept our clean sheet this season, a solitary clean sheet.
Well, there you go. He's not your top assister, though, is he?
No, Alphonse Areola. Yeah. Although Fernandez has popped up with a few of those recently, and what a player he is! What a just very briefly, like he's really blossoming. And I know he did the same at Southampton, but I think he's kicked on another level, to the point where this morning Man City are looking at bidding. Tottenham want to buy Somerville. Tottenham want to buy Bowen. Tottenham can go get fucked. I've no basis on this other than the fact that I really fancy quite seeing this. There is no talk of this officially, but I'd really want to see what Max Kilman could do as a defensive midfielder,
Right.
and take on a bit of a Declan Rice in terms of a box to box, but he's a defensive midfielder and kind of sit back and just do all that stuff. Do what Declan used to do because he's a shit centre back, but push him forward a little bit.
Send it to Nuno or write a postcard. That's what we used to do, innit?
Yeah,
Send a postcard.
send a postcard. Dear
Yeah, yeah.
Nuno Espirito Santos,
Yeah.
given your decades of knowledge in football, your success at many, many clubs and the trophies that you have won, me, a lowly 40-odd-year-old man with no experience, feels like Max Kilman should play defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
Yours sincerely. And then just wait and see. Because,
See what happens.
I mean, if we win the FA Cup, I want prize money. I think I deserve it.
And you deserve it.
Yeah, I think I deserve it. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I could pay off my mortgage. It'd be great.
Anything else on the game? So can we move on?
You can move on. I've waffled enough nonsense, conspiracy theories, and absolute twaddle. You can tell we're recording this in the morning, and my brain's not quite with it because I'm.
Well, you go it. You're going for it. I love it. I'm here for it.
It's entertaining, at least, isn't it?
Yeah, with your cabriolet car that the roof won't open up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of symbolic of the club at the minute.
It is, isn't it? It is. It's the potential's there. The application is wanting.
All right, let's move on to Leeds briefly because Newcastle away at Newcastle 4-3. No, nothing really happened. Not
really an entertaining game at all.
Not really. No. It was one of those sort of people afterwards going, "Oh, it's a Premier League classic," and it's like you don't want it to be a Premier League classic when you don't win it.
You want 1-0.
You
want two touches, oofed from the goalkeeper, headed.
Correct. If you've won 4-3 in the last minute, you want it to be a Premier League classic.
Yeah.
But it was a good game. I'm not going to go through every single bit. Brendan Aronson was amazing. We essentially had our full strength team out. Yeah. And there's still some argument with the Leeds fans as to whether to play Okafor up with Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Nemecha. I'll come into Nemecha later. But it was a good game. I think the only disappointing thing is that you were talking about being dog shit in defence. We've been really good defensively, and then away at Newcastle we were just a bit shit at times. We were under the cosh, and there were 2 penalties. But at the same time, you're sort of thinking, scoring 3 away from home, you expect a point at least.
Yeah.
At least a point. 2, I think, quite an average Newcastle side. They're not brilliant. They've got some really good players, but they're not brilliant. And Brendan Harrison scored 2 really good goals. Gruev, I think I talked last time about the fact that some of the fringe players, because we've had those injuries and suspensions, some of the fringe players have had to come in, and they've come in and played really well. We'd forgotten about Gruev, but he nicked. So for Brendan Harrison's second goal, which I think made it 3-3, he nicks the ball in midfield and a really lovely ball straight through to him on a counter attack, and Brendan Harrison finished really well. But 2 controversial penalties, I would say, in that game, going back to VAR. I think it was Joe Linton for ours. They would moan all day long it was a penalty. I would agree. If it went against us, I'd be a bit like, no, come on.
Or is it the Premier League trying to make entertaining football?
Completely.
Yeah.
And then Brendan Aronson jumps up for the ball, and as he jumps, it's sort of, he turns his back, and as he turns his back, it hits his hand, and you're sort of going, I get it. It's hit his hand and it's travelled a bit of a distance, but he's not facing the ball. He doesn't, you sort of going, really? It's almost out of the penalty area, and you sort of going, anyway, whatever. But Harvey Barnes does what Harvey Barnes does. I hate him. He always scores against us. He scored 2. And so we lose the game. But it's like you said a little bit about against Forrest. You still come away, although you haven't won anything, you still come away thinking there's a lot of positives there. And they took that similarly into Derby. Fringe players came in, played well. Pirro with his mouth open, bless him. He was just sort of running around like that. And
he might have sinuses. Well, I mean, everybody has sinuses. But, you know what I mean?
I hope he has sinuses.
You know, like he might be doing that thing that Rubens Barrichello. He needs that thing that Rubens Barrichello used to have when Formula One was entertaining and good.
Yeah, but have you seen
where they have the thing where it opens your nose up?
The strip. Yeah, but have you seen them? They sort of they make it look like they magnetically click onto your nose and then pull them apart. How does it do that?
I mean, I don't know, but it's a technology developed specifically for Rubens Barrichello that, like,
right? Because I've got sinuses.
Yeah, I mean, we've all got sinuses,
but I could do with one of them. Because you're right. I often have my mouth open because I breathe. So you're right. I need to stop taking a piss because
we're all gormless.
Have some problem. We're all gormless. Correct.
Yeah, that's the real connection. You know.
Yeah. Anyway, the Fringe players did reasonably well against Derby. It wasn't a great game. Derby played well for 40, 45, 50 minutes maybe, and then our players came on. And then at Fulham, I'll move on to Fulham quickly because Fulham wasn't a great game. It was a complete opposite of Newcastle. And considering Fulham's form has been really good, I expected more from them. And they didn't really perform. They didn't really do anything, and neither did we. It was 2 teams that huffed and puffed a lot, not a lot of quality. And then Nemecha came in, and it was a quality finish. The only sort of bright spark about that game really was, again, Calvert-Lewin was a hair whisker away from a Calvert-Lewin goal. I think it was Brendan Aronson down the right-hand side, put the ball in, and he was where Calvert-Lewin... They seem to know how each other play now. So I think the players are starting to get the ball into him where he wants it, and he was just the wrong side of the post. But then Nemecha came in and scored a Dominic Calvert-Lewin goal, centre of the goal, nice volley, finished it off, and we won that 1-0, which I think was retribution for the game against Fulham earlier on in the season when Goodmanson, if you remember, scored that bullet header into his own net. But anyway, shall we have a minute?
Oh, yeah, shit. Okay. Who's going first, me or you?
I don't mind. We know who the stinker is. The stinker is the Premier League for trying to manipulate the game to make it more entertaining.
Okay. How much you're going to miss Stach while he's injured? Starting now.
100% we're going to miss Stach. Our whole recruitment in the summer was Big Bastards FC, and he's one of the big bastards in the middle. And actually, I think it's taken some of them, Stack included, to get up to speed with the Premier League, and now he's getting up to speed. Thankfully, Gruev has come in, and he's up to speed as well now. But it's just his presence, it's the physicality that Gruev doesn't have. So 100% we're going to miss him in the middle. But more importantly, we're going to miss his social media because he's selfish enough that when he doesn't play, he doesn't do his social media. So I'm not having it. Having said that, there is talk of Strand Larsen coming in from Wolves, and he's Big Bastards FC as well. So he could fill the gap for the Big Bastards nutcase. that Stach leaves when he's not in the team.
5 seconds to go, but yeah, we've gone over the last couple of weeks, so
Yeah.
Strand Larson, just to go back to that. In fact, let me just come. We put an offer in for him. They wanted 40 million.
Yeah, not happening.
Yeah,
That
I'll be
ain't-
interested to see how much it goes to you guys for.
The problem, I'm not saying he will definitely go, but there's talk that there's a lot of, and it's typical around the Leeds sort of stuff that it's now become really hushed, and that usually means that there's stuff going
the
on. Now
business game
I
done.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know whether it will happen, but they would usually just come out and say nonsense. So it's not, and there's just nothing being said. So I don't know, but that sort of, you can't be paying that sort of money. It's
No.
just, it's
not worth that.
Give me a minute on why you're going to finish above Spurs this season.
Because Spurs are shit. There you go. No, Spurs have gone from under old Harry Redknapp, where they were perennial Champions League and all that kind of stuff, with Pochettino mirroring that kind of success. Under Daniel Levy, they have had a very similar trajectory as West Ham. They've had problematic ownership and problematic people in the boardroom who appear to have put certain things above the quality of football and all that kind of stuff. And there's been a real mixing direction with managers assigned. They've gone from Pochettino, no, Postecoglou. It's because I'd said Pochettino earlier. Postecoglou, who's attack, into Thomas Frank, who's 11 men behind the ball. And that is entirely why they will absolutely mess up. Whereas we've gone Moyes, essentially, to the same but he's Portuguese. And that's why we will be better. There you go.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think that I'm sort of, if I was you, I'd just, and we're in a similar position to you. You sort of hope that the turmoil just continues.
Yeah.
Because I think given enough time, Thomas Frank will turn that around. But there is obviously players at that club who, it's like Manchester United, isn't it? You can put as many managers in as you like, but unless you change the mentality at the club with the players, it's just going to keep going. So there is obviously a problem at Tottenham. I mean, because they have good players individually.
This is a club.
And all of the coaches can't be wrong.
No, and this is a club who, under Pochettino, were really successful. I mean, the trophy cabinet is as empty as it ever has been. Their trophy cabinet is like ours. It's, I mean, I was going to say we've won one more recently, but they have.
No, they have. They don't have a World Cup.
No, they don't have a World Cup. But we both have Tin Pot European trophies recently. We don't have the big one.
No.
Theirs is slightly bigger than ours, but fuck them. But yeah, under Pochettino, I would argue they were more successful even without a trophy than they have been over a similar period. And they hounded Pochettino out of the club because he wasn't. They imagined themselves further ahead than what they really were. And a lot of people will angle that same criticism against West Ham and West Ham fans, and I feel like there's maybe some truth in it. I don't know. From where I was sitting, we hounded David Moyes out of the club because the football was shit. But I would still stick a statue of him outside. So yeah, I think Spurs they are the wrong side of turmoil.
We've gone from hating him to putting a statue outside.
Yeah. He's arguably our most successful manager. The reason why we eventually was like, can we just have a change? Is because it just broke down, that relationship between Moyes and the squad and the club. And
come on, it wasn't as amicable as, please, can we just have a change at the club?
Oh no, it was. But I feel like a lot of that is aimed at the board, and I feel like the frustrations at the board because they'd appointed Moyes, and then they'd got to a point where they tried to, given the fact they'd wanted a trophy, they then didn't respond accordingly in his next contract, and they offered him like the same terms, and he's like, I've won you a trophy, and quite rightly turned down the contract, and therefore that influenced how he then managed that squad for that following year. In his final year of his contract, he's like, didn't give a shit. So we were like, we'll go then. If you're gonna turn around and be shitty, then we will be shitty to you, so fuck off.
Let's round it off there.
All right.
And let's pick it up next week.
Yeah, like where we'll be current.
We'll go get up to speed.
We'll talk just about Sunderland.
One game.
Yeah.
One game. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Give us a holler if you've got one. Yeah. Adios.
Nice.